And hello, welcome back again. So, in this video, we're going to make a computer login program using C++. So, if I were to say blah 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 blah, enter, and blah 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 blah, error, user and password incorrect. Oh, well, let's try David, and let's try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Welcome, David. Program ended. Now, obviously, my password is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If your password ever is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in real life, change it. But at the same time, there is also going to be a guest user. So I can say guest, and then complete gibberish, and it'll say guest. Or I can go and say complete gibberish, and then put guest, and it'll still say guest. But it will not let me say, David, or David, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I cannot say, David and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It will have to be, I just typoed it again. It'll keep saying it, and then boom, once I get David 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it'll work and remember it. So basically, that's the difference of what we're doing. And to start this, as always, start out with a fresh, new old C++ program. And we're going to, obviously, make ourselves a couple of strings. So, obviously, string username, obviously, is what we're going to have. And we're going to have ourselves a string. Hello, why are you oddly indented like that? There we go. If anything gets weirdly indented in JDoodle, it will sometimes decide to, not work properly. So we know that we have our username and a password. We know we're going to use those. Obviously, you know how to make strings by this point. Welcome to the computer login program. So, in this program, we are going to wind up making ourselves use of and or. What are and or, you say? They are conditionals. So, first and foremost, actually, I'll do that at the end. I'll show you guys what'll happen. So, first and foremost, let's just see out. Let's, give them some instructions. And I'll make another /n here. You'll know why later on. Please enter your username. /tab. And of course, you know how to use a cin, so hopefully you know that. Username. Boop. And then of course, we'll do the same thing again, but this time we will say, and I'll just copy and paste just to make that faster, please enter your password. And this time, instead of using username, they'll be entering in password. So now, here's where we're going to get to some if statements. So, if username, forgot the parentheses, username equals, and I'm just going to use my name here. I want you to use your own name. You don't have to put David. Then I'm going to put 2 double ampersands. And password equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now remember, we're entering a string. It's not numbers. So put those quotes around it. So only if that happens, it'll say, see out, welcome, David, /n/n. And then, boop. And you know what? Just for giggles, we'll put a break in there. We probably don't need the break, but, we'll just put the break in anyway. So now, in theory, yeah, error, break statement not within a loop or switch. Yeah, Didn't think we needed it. However, we'll probably need it later. I know why I needed it. I know why I needed it. So now if I say David, and I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it says, welcome David. You know, that sort of stuff. So it worked. It worked as intended. However, obviously, if I say my name is Sam, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to say welcome Sam. So that's what and is. The double and there means the and operand. So basically, what and means is that both sides must be true to move on. So this must be true, and this must be true. So it will not work. It will not go down to this unless this is true and this is true. If one is true and one is false, it still skips it. It's still false. So now let's do something else. Because for the guest user, we're going to say they can type the word guest or enter the name get or enter the password guest. It doesn't matter. Else if username equals guest, and then I'm going to do 2 of these vertical lines. It's shift where you normally have this backslash. Yeah, it's the shift of that. Or password equals guest. It'll say cout welcome guest. Whoops! Whoop! I hit all caps. Welcome guest. /n/n. Boop. So the difference is, let me just do that again here. So // so vertical line means the or operand. And unlike, only one side of or needs to be true to move on. So, only one side needs to be true. Either username can be guessed or password can be guessed. They both can be true, one can be true, or the other can be true. So the only way this does not move on is if both sides are false. So there's only 1 out of 4 possibility to get this. There's 3 out of 4 possibilities to get this. Okay? Think of it like balloons. If I say I want a red balloon and a green balloon, and you give me only a red balloon, well, you haven't given me what I wanted. But if I say I want a red balloon or a green balloon, and you give me a red balloon, you have in fact given me what I wanted. So, whoop. I have screwed something up. I don't have the last That's why. Because guest did not have an ending point. There we go. Now everything's in the proper color it should be. There we go. Now I can execute this and show it off. See, so I can just do guest, and then complete utter gibberish, and it'll still say welcome guest, because it was an or, not an and. So, now then, obviously, as you have seen here, this just sort of ends after the first attempt. So even if I get something wrong, like blah blah blah, like even if I have the else there, and the else, which is obviously everything else, and I say cout, error, username, or password incorrect. Even if I do that, it's gonna just stop me at 1. It'll stop me at, it'll stop me at 1 time around, and it won't let me do this ever again. So, obviously, this would be a very terrible program, but thankfully, we've learned loops. I mean, can you imagine if you, screwed up your username on your computer and, oops, nope, computer didn't work, shut the computer off, turn it back on again to get a second attempt? No. So we're going to loop all of this, okay? Everything. And to do that, I'm going to just go up here and I'm going to make myself a, I'm just going to name this loop. Integer loop equals 1. Okay? So, that's it. I'm literally just doing that just so that this will loop no matter what. And I'm just going to go and say, welcome to the loop integer, right? So, blah, 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 blah. So, about here-ish. I'm going to say, while loop equals 1. So, while loop equals 1, I'm going to just tab everything over and basically say, you're going to do all of this. All of this while loop equals 1. And I'm going to close that loop. So now, if I were to have the situation of going blah, 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 error, username or password incorrect, blah, 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 error. Okay, David. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Welcome, David. Oh no, but look, it still says enter username. So, remember beforehand where it said that break was not in a loop? And that's what was wrong? Well, that's now why we're going to go back and we're going to add our break here, okay? And I'm going to go in here, I'm going to add my break. And there we go. Whoops. Let me move those guys over again so that you can actually read things again. So now I have a break for if I get a correct answer, and another break if I get a correct answer here. So obviously, if we're incorrect, we want to keep going. So now, blah, 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 and it'll keep going. But now, if I enter a correct information, now it'll say, welcome, David, and stop, because we wanted it to stop and break at a correct answer. Because once you have a correct answer, why would you keep doing it? So, what we have done here is we've learned some nesting. We have an if statement inside a while loop. And yes, you could have a while loop inside an if statement as well. You can have a while loop inside a while loop, an if statement inside an if statement. You can have multiple things nested inside each other. So we've learned some nesting. We have been able to break it. We've learned or. We've learned and we actually have a use of else this time that isn't a result of a bunch of errors. Unlike the number even odd program, else actually uses the way it's supposed to be used. So, yeah, that's good for today. So, once again, thank you for another beautiful week of class. I recommend that you have saved all these projects because coming up next is your second and, as of making this video, final big project of C++. Now, if the curriculum changes or whatnot, all this might be thrown up in the air. But there's a big project coming up next, and I guarantee you everything you've learned over these past 3 weeks is going to be used in that big project. So, go ahead, look at your code, look at these videos as reference again, because you're going to be making a rock, paper, scissors game. Have fun!